What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy. Today we are going to be going over if I rewrote the FNAF lore. Now, we all know I was just going over it before the phone call. I was going over how it's terribly complicated for no reason at all. And if you get the general games and you just place them into an orderly timeline, it makes sense for the most part. Of course, there's going to be some potholes here and there, but I feel like I could do it a bit better. Of course, this is my opinion. This is all just for funsies. If anything, you could sort of say this is an AU, an alternate universe. So without further ado, grab your Fizzy Faz, grab your expired pizza, grab your exotic butters, whatever you want. Let's get started, shall we? So this all starts within the mid to late 1970s with Willier Afton. And pretty much his whole thing is that I want to make a place where kids can come there, they can play games, they can interact with like animatronics and animals, and just have a good time, be a child, really know what it's like to be a child, where fantasy and fun could come to life. So he tried to make some costumes. He rented out like a local like sinkhole, whatever, and he built a pizzeria and pretty much it was called Fredbear's. Fredbear's basically was the godfather of the whole Freddy Fivebear's pizza. So he created two characters, Bonnie the Bunny, or Spring Bonnie, as we all know and love to call him, and Fredbear. However, another rival company was coming out at the time. William wasn't really the big, like, techie guy. Like, he wanted to get into it, but he just never could. Along came Henry Emily. Henry Emily was working for, like, a rival company. And pretty much, he was like, yo, how about, right, we merge our companies together, like how in real life, Chuck E. Cheese and the Showbiz Pizzeria both merged. We can merge this company with the Fredbear name. Williams was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. So, pretty much, they merged, made Fredbear's Family Diner, and made animatronic wearable suits, also known as the Springlocks. This, just in the wise words of Kingpin from Spider-Verse, business was booming, and it was so good, in fact, that Willier Afton he got married, he had 3 beautiful children, and by like 1980, everything was going great. Of course, his bigger brother would always like be like salty towards his younger brother because like the younger brother keeps on getting the attention, you know. The older brother is literally just Roderick in this. He's just he probably like asked like the crying child, does he know about the DORE?
Hey, could you break your cranium so we can leave early?
Can you get your frontal lobe bit out by Fredbear so that we could leave early? But we're getting to that. So pretty much Willier Afton and Henry Emily we're making bank off of this. But the crying child, which I would name what should we call the crying child in this? Alright, so his name is Bobby. This is his temporary name. The records are wiped clean of him, so we'll just name him Bobby. So Bobby kept on complaining to his father, Padre, I keep on seeing animatronics inside of my room, and they keep on trying to tickle my booty hole or whatever. And Willer's like, nah, that's whatever, kid. It's fine. There's nothing there. Just the monster's thing. It's empty. Just opens the closet. So that's how the nightmares get wrapped up into this. I imagine the nightmares don't look too mechanical. They look more organic, and they look more like discolored and disfigured. They look like unnatural. They look like monsters.
Like a nightmare. Like something that isn't real but is also real at the same time. Something that borders beneath fantasy and reality. Your subconsciousness, if you will.
So he was complaining about nightmares. His father was like, nah, it's whatever. Just, you know, Don't worry about it. And pretty much comes 1983, the golden year, if you will. The year where everything starts to go wrong.
Literally 1983.
Anyway, so pretty much
Not kill children and stuff them in suits.
you must not kill children and stuff them in suits. The thing with Fredbear, I'd imagine he's just like a imaginary friend, just fucking Bing Bong or whatever. I don't want him to be like, oh, he's a recorder, or Willier Afton's a spy on the Tron Child, because I don't think he strikes me as the type who would put a nanny cam in a plush toy. I just feel like he's like the Crying Child's just like, oh my god, this little Fredbear toy is my friend, you know, just, you know, something like that. You know, we all had like a plushie when we were a kid. They were like, this is my best friend. I would do anything for him. I love my Sonic plushie. I would shove rusty nails up my urethra. Anyway.
No.
Alright, so basically, Mike, he was like, you know what? I fucking hate this kid. I'm gonna like pull a big prank on him. So he calls up his buddies and he's like, yo, how about you go give Fredbear a big kiss if you're so scared of him, you know, give him some honey, give him some love. He was like, no, I don't wanna. So they forcefully pick him up and shove him inside the mouth. Spring locks go off, and he clamps down on the child's head.
Was that the bite of 87?
Causing the death of Bobby. Quote unquote Bobby. This leaves William Afton disheveled. He's like, oh my fucking god. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? And also too, just to clarify something, Mike, during this, he is 17. Bobby is about like 7 or 8. And Elizabeth is 3. She is 3 years old. She's a baby. And a little Bubba. Which this will come into play later. I'll tell you that right now. It'll come into play later. So pretty much after that, William and Henry had to go back to the drawing board. They're like, okay, we can't do Fredbear, but we can't do Spring Bonnie. So what characters can we do? And they looked over to the cheap show that they produced, where they had to make like additional like characters to just fill out the roster. And they're like, how about we make animatronics of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy from the cartoon and just shove them in a pizzeria. That's what they did. Along comes Freddy Fivebear Pizza with the designs that I made. Now you might be thinking, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. What am I doing in my life? Oh, actual pizza. Ah, it's cold. Anyway, so pretty much you might be thinking, Nick, but why would you make that like the original like characters from the first game, even though like the wizards from the second game are different? Well, I really don't fucking care. 1, 2, it'll just complicate it to high heaven and back. They open a restaurant and the characters are there. You know, they're not wearable costumes. They have like regular, crusty, like cheap looking costumes in the back because the Springlocks were notified as being too dangerous because the year prior, somebody got themselves springlocked in it twice. So, you know, there's that. You know, and that's fun. So basically, after that, they're like, alright, we're just gonna make them regular endoskeletons. We're just gonna make them regular animatronics. So they did that. And along comes a security puppet. This was to ensure that no kid would go out of the restaurant without having to answer to the security puppet, so that they're all in the same place at once. But, of course, William Afton wasn't happy. Of course, his son, Bobby, he died due to technology that Henry made. Henry took what was most important to him, and that was his son. So, in an act of drunken rage, since he went to juniors and, you know, drank there for a bit, He just drove over to the restaurant, expecting to confront Henry and maybe give him a piece of his mind, but then found his daughter Charlie outside because bullies threw her out there because, you know, she's a little wimp. And William had an idea. An awful idea. Insert the clip of the Grinch doing the smile thing. So, in an act of drunken rage and resentment, he killed Charlie and just threw her body in the alleyway. And then just drove off without any suspicion leading to him at all. This would be the first domino to be put in place in a long series of them that eventually caused his downfall. Of course, after that, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was getting popular though. It was very much popular with kids because it was fun entertainment with the animatronics, and it was fun for the parents because it was cheap entertainment. They could just take their kids there. They'd be like, hey, you know what? Here's like, here's $1. You go get coins and you go play the arcades. I will get us pizza. And yeah. So pretty much that's pretty much what happened. So William Afton thought, you know, one kid isn't enough. You know what? One kid isn't enough. I'm gonna do more. I want to do more kids. So pretty much.
I loved it. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, legit. He was just on his punch rock. So he lured 5 more kids into the back room, killed them. Well, originally it was supposed to be 4, but then there was the additional 5th one. Just stumbled in there, and of course, when he was all pumped up with that adrenaline, that one he went a little too far on, and he was like, "Oh fuck." That one's kind of broken beyond repair. I think I might have gone a little too far with that. I made it severe. I got too lost in the sauce. I'm gonna kill you! Ah! I need you to apologize there. I got a little too lost in the sauce. So, pretty much after that, he decided, you know what? I'm just gonna shove her inside the old Fredbear animatronic. And so she did. And so he did. Excuse me. Bleh. My brain's mixing up. You can tell that this isn't scripted. It's going off of brain power. And during this time, the home life for William wasn't great. And the home life for Elizabeth growing up wasn't great either. Constant arguments between William and the wife, causing the wife to eventually leave and file for a divorce. And she left William with Mike and Elizabeth. So, after that, they pretty much, were like, you know what? People are disappearing. They're just like, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And I don't feel safe keeping my kid here. So, the restaurant eventually closed down. This soon led to a new and improved Freddy Fazbear's opening. People were skeptical, but Henry was like, no guys, don't worry. I made new animatronics with criminal recognition databases. The animatronics were a lot more advanced. They were a lot more kid-friendly looking. They looked a lot more appealing to children. They're all shiny and glimmering and splendid. And the kids were like, oh my god, they look great. And he also took the puppet out of, retirement and kind of threw it in there with a bunch as well. Thus leading to Freddy and Friends Pizza Place. I'll just call it that. Fuck. Anyway. So after that, William was like, you know, I kind of want to go back again. And, of course, because of this, William kicked him out. He was like, nope, you're out of here. Nope, we're not doing that. William was like, god damn it, bro. Damn. Alright, fine, I'll make my own animatronic themed thing. So, William did that. 1983. There are 2 different things up right now. The Freddy and Fred's Pizza Place, and William Afton's new company, Afton Robotics. pretty much it was like both titled after robotics and also two as a cover up to the real name Circus Babies Circus Babies Rentals, where he made a new cast of animatronics. Now, this is the part of the story where it gets a little different. A lot more different, in fact. The animatronics here aren't really up to snuff with, like, Henry's, like, criminal database animatronics. They're more along the lines of, like, the originals. Like, you know, the originals that were found in, like, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The hell? Anyway. So, pretty much, he made those animatronics, but he didn't really do them in the intent of, I'm gonna kill kids. No. This was to show Henry how much he needed him. He wanted to show Henry, you're gonna fail without me. I am the peanut butter to your jelly. I am the Sonic to your Shadow Dog, even though Sonic probably doesn't exist in this timeline. I am the number one opposition that you need on your side. Because I'm just that good. It was all
influential artist of this generation.
I am William Shakespeare in the flesh, Walt Disney. And pretty much he had that thing open, but nobody really like bought the animatronics. So he was like, God damn it. I can't right now. I can't anymore, dog. So he went back to the pizzeria. He went back to the toy pizzeria, and he was like, alright, I'm gonna be sneaky about it this time. I'm rubbing my hands. I'm gonna be sneaky about it this time. So he sneaks into the back in the parts service where they kept the old animatronics that are just used for parts now. And he collected in like the Springlock costume. So he snatched 5 more kids, right? And he brought them over to his workspace, because if you didn't know, he saw, like, after the location had closed for the original Freddy Fazbear's, he noticed the animatronics were moving at night. He was like, huh, it's a little odd. So he took them over there and pretty much tried to stuff them inside of the, like, Circus Babies animatronics. This did not go too well, because they lashed out. They were violent. They were like a mess. And William was like, oh my god, that kind of sucks, but also too, that's revolutionary. I literally harnessed the power of life through robotics. Like, I don't think William Afton is like Tony Stark level like he was in the actual timeline. I feel like he's just kind of like almost Henry level, but not quite. But like still, this was big. And notice how I didn't mention Elizabeth. She'll come into play later. But all I'll say is that no, she does not die. She never died. He made Baby based off of Elizabeth, not for that reason, but more so like, I'm gonna base this off of my baby girl because this is what's important to me. God bless you. So anyway, after we're done with that, Henry had to close down Freddy Fazbear's. He had to close down the toy location, you know, because of the murders again. And also too, business kind of tapered off after a short bit. People were getting a little less interested in it. It was just kind of bad. So, the franchise lay dormant for a little bit. Then came along Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Henry's like, okay. One more time we'll do it. So we gathered the old withered animatronics and refurbished them, gave them their old parts back, and put them in this animatronic pizzeria because he needed to pay off the debt that was still remaining on the company. However, this didn't work. The reputation of the company was in the gutter, everybody knew about the murders, and nobody came. It was a wasteland. It was a barren wasteland. The most people you'll see at that location were like 10 maybe, at the most. This place was a barren wasteland. Nobody came. The animatronics reeked of death. It was like really eerie in there for some reason. They could swear they could hear screams from the back rooms, even though nobody was back there when they checked. The place felt haunted. It felt like there was a ghost in the building, and there was. So, of course, he had to retire it. He was like, alright, this isn't working. Freddy Fazbear's is dead. So, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed, with the occasional night guard being hired because those animatronics can be valuable. They could be sold at auction or something, or maybe they could have their parts be reused for like a different non-Freddy Fazbear's project. And then along comes Michael Afton. Michael Afton, something was off. His father hadn't returned. His father said he was on a quote-unquote business trip. He shrugged this off and just kind of waited around a bit. Then we cut to William Afton. William Afton had kind of been sitting around for a bit. He was like, alright, Freddy Fazbear's dead? I'm gonna go destroy these animatronics, because honestly, nobody wants them. Nobody cares for them anymore. So he went into the building, and he smashed them. Not like that, please. No, not adult theory. Not FNAF adult theory, please. Not FNAF adult theory, please.
FNAF adult theory.
Bro, remember that. I'm just hold on, real quick pause to the whole thing. But you remember the adult theory with like sister location?
Bruh, yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. Funny thing is that actually got like it legit became like a thing, not in the actual franchise, but like as a fan game, and I want to kill myself. So pretty much Willie or Afton was like, alright, I'm gonna go back to the pizzeria and just trash these animatronics in spite of Henry again. This guy was a very, very resentful person. He held on that grudge, he like held onto that thing by the horns and did not let it go. But there's one thing he didn't account for. The ghosts inside those animatronics. Since he stuffed them in there, their souls were trapped inside. But by destroying them, he released them. So pretty smart move on William. Quote unquote smart move. So he was like, oh god, real ghosts, I gotta get out of here. So he went to the back room and he found his old spring lock suit. And just because he thought, oh, wait a minute, I killed him in that thing. So maybe if I get into that thing and show them that I'm still the guy that I am, they'll be afraid, they'll be scared of me. So he hopped in and he felt the power that he felt years and years ago. He felt like power, he felt on top, he felt like a king on top of the world, and then spring locks go off. All that was left of William was just the searing white noise of pain, and just the sheer like agony of like thousands of pins, needles, and knives stabbing into your body all at once.
Insert the clip of the FNAF movie where he says the line,
I always come back. And then show a clip of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Anyway. He laid there. He writhed in pain as the souls finally seemed to sigh. And they just moved on. Except, they didn't.
They're like, alright boys, we did it. William Afton's no more.
Except they didn't. They would come back later, but for now, they rested. They felt a sigh of relief. They were like, alright boys, well we did it. William is no more. No more! And they all did the cheer, and then they all fucked off. So we cut back to Mike. He's like, that's odd. Dad hasn't returned back home, but why? So, in case of emergency, since William was a very cautious guy, he told Mike, in any case where I'm out for an extended period of time, without a phone call, without a note, without a mail, anything, you go check on the Circus Babies rental. The Circus Babies rental facility that closed down a bunch of years ago. I have projects there that I was working on. So Mike thought, oh well, whatever, you know. So, went over there and found out that it was more than meets the eye. It was an experimentation type of place where he would experiment on like the souls of these kids and see what like they could be like capable of what like could be capable of having a soul inside of an animatronic. And Mike was like, oh, what the fuck? What is going on? So pretty much the kids in the suits, they all kind of band together. They thought that he was Mike. They thought that he was William. So they're like, oh my god, we're going. So they just all merged into Anern. They tricked him. They scooped his like organs out. They climbed inside of his suit. They just climbed inside of his skin. Mike was still conscious, by the way. He like was actually conscious when when his suit and when his skin was being worn by these like animatronics, like these wires and metallic bars. Just it felt like he was like an inflated balloon just ready to pop at any moment. And after a while, they were like, oh wait.
That's so fucking hot, dude.
Shut the fuck. Anyway, the ghosts were like, oh wait, hold on, wait. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, guys. The human body without the stuff that it needs to keep it alive, it's not in here. And the skin's rotting. What should we do? One of the other kids was like, how about we just get out of him? So they all kind of like did the regular show, like, and they ejected themselves out of Mike's skin. They coughed up some remnant, said, hey, you won't die, and he continued to live. At least for a little longer. So, after that, he went back home and just laid there dormant for years. Come about 2014 or so. Or like 2014 going to like 2023 or so. William Afton has been sitting in that room for years. He has been fermenting in that room, still holding on to dear life, as some like teenagers, some like young adults barged into the restaurant. And they're like, yo, this place is pretty cool. They start collecting items from there. And they looked over at William, and they're like, yo, guys, look at this fucking thing. This is really cool. So they took him and placed him in a new attraction nearby a theme park. As Mike was sitting at home on his iconic Mike Afton couch and Mike Afton TV, he saw an advertisement pop up on screen for the new attraction or amusement park that had that attraction. Fazbear's Frights, a horror attraction based off of the stories and disappearances of the kids and FNAF, or just Freddy Fivebear's. He was like, why the fuck would they do that? It's like really disrespectful. So he was like, well, I'm hoping that maybe, if anything, I can find some clues on where Dad went, because he didn't know. He just did not know where He was. He made a vow that he would come find him, but he hasn't found him yet. So with that being said, he went over. He got a job. The kids didn't really think, or the young adults didn't really think that much of him. They just thought it was like a cool little costume that he just wore. And there he was, William Afton, in the attraction. He's standing there. Wasn't really a great family reunion of a father and son. It was more so like a, hey Dad, it's been a while. Yeah, you telling me, dude? Yeah. So did you really kill kids? I'm gonna kill you now. Okay, that's fair. And then Mike was like, you know what? I'm gonna set this thing on fire. So he set the building on fire, and down went the whole thing. But that wasn't the end. William Afton dug himself out of the fire and the remains and walked off into God knows where. The puppet was still around. She was just kind of doing her own thing. She just kind of, I don't know, lay dormant for a couple of years before being picked up by Henry, who came out of retirement to finally just put an end to it. He knew about William, and he knew about, like, Mike, and he knew about the sister location. He knew about his daughter. He knew about everything. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to hire Mike to help me put an end to this once and for all. So he called up Mike. He's like, yo, I have this project I want you to do, alright? I'll you'll know what it's for when you see it. And Mike was like, okay, fine, whatever. So he went over, made the FNAF 6 location, or I guess the Freddy Fivebear's Pizza Place, more so less of an actual animatronic pizzeria, more so a trap for William, for the animatronics from the sister location, from with Charlotte and the puppet, like all the souls of the kids, everything. Like, it was all going to be burned down in just a big fiery flame. The flames of disaster! And that was it.
Burning hell.
Yeah, legit. All of the good souls went to heaven while William is trapped in hell. That's where he stayed.
Michael! Don't leave me here!
Michael! Yeah, no, legit. That is what happened. William finally went to hell for his sins. No more. He did not come back. This is the last instance of William. He's gone. He's done. He's now in his own, like, personal hell and ultimate custom night. He's gone. He's done. All right. No more William Afton. We don't need no more William Afton. Okay. I don't even care if it's the mimic in Security Breach. He's gone. Which leads me to my next point.
Until he makes a cameo in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, exactly. That's when he's back. But that leads me to my next point. So, the company was done. Fazbear Entertainment was closed down by 2025. Everything was like, it was done. It was just done. Like 2024 to 2025. Current year. Everything was done. And Henry just kind of just sat around. He just kind of enjoyed his retirement. He enjoyed finally having everything done and just over with. So he didn't come back to the franchise with that. He, like, got a little cabin in the woods or whatever, you know? He finally settled down with his wife. Just kind of enjoyed her. Maybe adopted a kid if he isn't, like, old. But, you know, you never know. And then that's kind of it. But wait! There's one more character that I didn't mention throughout this whole thing. Can you guess who the character is? Her name starts with an E.
Did he make the mimic?
No, I said her name starts with an E.
Idris Elba.
No, Elizabeth Afton. She's about.
Elba starts with an I. I know Idris Elba starts with an I, but I don't care.
Yeah, but anyway. But pretty much Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what is like around like her like mid-50s. Like she's around. Well, actually not mid-50s. She's like around her like late 50s. And all of the rights, all of the things, all of the blueprints, all of everything Everything that was related to Fredbear's or Freddy's was given to her. She was like, but like, why? Why do I need this? But then a light bulb went off in her head. Light bulb. And she did like the Grinch face again. She was like, what if I take the Fazbear company, make it an LLC, and start over, start from scratch. Do what my father couldn't do, and just make the company better. So that's what she did. She started work. She started like with the base question, how do I get rid of the bad reputation? How do I get rid of the bad rep? So with the company, she hired Silver Parasol Games, or Steel Wolf, I guess. And she was like, yo, you guys, I want you to make a VR game, pretty much being like, yo, you know all those stories about the FNAF? You know all the stories about Freddy Fivebears being haunted or whatever, and the child murders? I want you to make a game invalidating all that. Making them be like hoaxes, or fairy tales, or whatever. Or like, just like Bigfoot stories, whatever. I want you to make it like that. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So they made the game, and they shelled it out. And people were talking about it. They're talking about it online. They're like, yo, oh my god, wait a minute. I'm actually getting invested in this right now. It's been years since murders happened. And everybody was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And people even started to grow kin to William Afton. So you know how, I think I remember, there was like a thing that happened with some kid who read the Jeff the Killer story. And he was like, I love Jeff the Killer so much that I'm going to directly copy him. I'm going to kill people, just like him. I think that's something that happened. So pretty much, people were like starting to make like a little cult. They're like starting to be like, we love William Afton so much that we're going to follow in his footsteps. And one character, who would later become the mantle of Vanny, would definitely be the head leader of this group. It's not William Afton's influence, or his soul, or ghost, or whatever. It's just a cult based off of the legacy, or the legend that was the man behind the slaughter, William Afton Purple Guy.
William Afton, the new legacy.
Really? No, please, no.
Elizabeth ain't got nothing on me.
Anyway, so Elizabeth was like, you know what? We're gonna start. We're gonna make this new pizzeria bigger, bolder, faster, better animatronics, better this, better that, better everything. So they started production over well, not really over the ruins of the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, the FNAF 6 location, but just in some random location that had a lot of space. So they started making a mall. Not like a pizzaplex, a somewhat pizzeria/mall. This is kind of wrapping into a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and that is me redoing or redesigning Security Breach. I would imagine to make it a little bit more smaller in scope, and not so big that like the game can't even handle it. We're just gonna do it in a mall. Instead of being a little child, you're actually just following a security guard, like you've always been. But it isn't Mike or, Jeremy. None of that. It's Vanessa. You're playing as Vanessa. You're following her story. The game is divvied up in 5 nights, like it's always been, and it's free roam, kind of like how, like the Joy Creation or like those early free roam FNAF games, but just a lot bigger and bolder and better. Not saying the FNAF fan games are bad, because they're not. They're all very good. It's just, you get what I mean.
Except for the one that had the child predator involved in it.
Yeah, that one, and also to the fucking Fredina's nightclub or whatever it was. I think that one was like the 3D free roam.
And One Night at Flumpy's, the one that also had the other child predator involved in it.
Yeah.
Anything without a child predator in it is alright.
Yeah, that'd be great. The location opened with new animatronics. We have a new roster. we have like two new characters and two already existing characters. We have Freddy Fivebear, Chica the Chicken, Roxanne Wolf, and Montgomery Gator.
Rebel Ace's favorite animatronic.
50K guy. Anyway, but these animatronics are bigger because they have an AI database. They have like programmed AI systems that allow them to become alive. Just think of like the AI chatbots, but just like in an actual robot, like an actual thing that you can talk to. You can have like a consistent conversation with them. You can like shake their hand. You can say hi. You can have birthday cake with them. You know, it's like it's the big thing. And then like every time there is like a noon show and a closing show where they get on that big old stage and they rock out and they jam out. They have a good time. It's just a big old concert. And it was great. It was a very, very good thing. Nothing really bad happened. For a while, that is. Vanessa, since you play as her, you would have to encounter the cult of Afton. You would try to stop them, and you would have to try to stop their leader, Vanessa. Well, not Vanessa, Vanny. Excuse me, my brain got mixed up there. Anyway, you have to stop the cult leader, Vanny. So throughout the 5 nights, you're collecting more clues. You're not only surviving the animatronics who are on their, like, night mode, which is a new experimental thing made by the company, but it's got some kinks to work out. The animatronics aren't necessarily the friendliest that night, except for Freddy. I feel like he's the only one that's, like, not, like, a general threat to you. If anything, he acts more like the staff bot, and where he alerts another, like, animatronic. Because, I don't know, I feel like Freddy, at least in my version, he doesn't really strike me as a type to, like, go crazy, go stupid on you. But the others do. No staff bots either, I hate those things. So pretty much, rumors kind of go around with the whole cult of Afton. And people are like, yo, we're really concerned, like, about this whole thing. Like, we heard that it was like just like some ghost story online, but like, now it's becoming like an actual thing. And Elizabeth's like, don't worry, we'll take care of this. So you are playing Vanessa, and you're trying to solve what this security breach is about. I said the title of the game.
Say that again?
Man, I'm spending 5 nights at Freddy's, and I'm trying to deal with this security breach right now. It's kind of exhausting.
Say that again?
I'm spending 5 nights at Freddy's due to this security breach.
Yes, you are.
Hey guys, I got it. Ready?
Ready?
Yeah. But yeah, I almost want to give the mall like a uncanny valley almost feel. Like in the daytime it looks normal. It looks like a normal mall. But at night it looks different. Like it looks like a back room almost. Because like I always had like a weird thing as a kid, like if I ever get abandoned in like a mall, like that'd be kind of weird and just scary because it's just like it's super quiet in there without everybody in there. But you know, my parents are too good to lose me in a mall. They'd probably be like, "Oh fuck, where's our child at?" But anyway, so pretty much Vanessa, you know, makes a big break in the case, and pretty much night 6 is more treated as like the final battle between you and Vanny. Pretty much after that, you arrest her, and everything is fine. The Fazbear name is safe, and everything's good with the company. And that's about it. No ruin, no mimic, no nothing, no books, no nothing, no nada, no zero.
Oh,
Zilch.
dang. Oh, dang. No.
No Edwin, no mimic, no David, no ice cream, no ball, no getting on the road, no getting hit by a car, no name, no nothing.
Oh man, he didn't make the mimic in this universe. This is gonna get one like equals one prayer for My Name is the Fucking Mimic. Oh yeah, song.
Anyway, but yeah, that's really about it. So, what do you think?
I'm Slender Man. Find my pages.
Listen to my voice and find the key.
I'm Mickey Mouse. I'm gonna commit suicide.
And I'm Chucky Pinkster, the original creepypasta. And that wraps up Creepypasta School. Have a nice day, Tumblr users.
Bro, no, yeah, but thank God, it's a lot more simple. It's more like the original, like FNAF days, mixed within like the newer kind of like continuity. You know what I mean? Everything is a lot less, everything's a lot less convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
It still is a bit, there still is much to offer, but it isn't like, there's a bajillion things happening all at once, and there's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to play every single game and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Every piece of media, like, there's, like, you said you excluded the novels, and you excluded all that, all the secrets of the mimic and all that.
Yeah, I added some elements from the books, like, of course, William Afton's name and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was based more off of the games. But now we're at the post-discussion. We're at the epilogue. So, what do you think about all this? What do you perceive of it? Or do you have any questions about it?
Do I have any questions? No, not really.
Really?
I think everything else is wrapped up in a nice little bow here. Oh wait, what's up with the little spring trap doll? The fucking
Plus trap. I just imagine that's just like a little doll that was like sold during the Fredbear days, and this little Bobby saw that and he was like, "Oh my god, those things are creepy," and then he started having nightmares about those too.
Oh, okay, so Plus trap is just there.
Yeah, he's there. He's just kind of like a red herring, if you're asking me personally.
He's just chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Big chilling on the chair. Anyway, any other questions?
What about the box?
The box. What's in the box? Okay. If you want my personal opinion, it's the files. Everything listing the Aston family, Emily family, Fredbears, Fivebears, the disappearances, anything that went wrong with the franchise and more is inside the box. That's what I'm thinking. Pretty much, it's just Matt Pat's wet dream in there.
It's Matt Pat's wet dream.
We finna get Matt Pat out of retirement with this.
We're gonna get Matt out of retirement with this one.
Yeah, baby! Woohoo! Anyway, but yeah. Any other questions? I love asking questions. I love answering questions like this.
Any other questions? No, not really. There's no other questions I have.
Really?
No other questions I have. Yeah.
Huh, okay. Well, if the viewers have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below asking me what's your question? What's the question, and I'll answer it the best I can. At least in text form, that is. Maybe we could do like a post, like a post video Q&A, and I could just post it on my channel. And yeah, that's kind of about it. I mean, that's all I kind of want to talk about. And yeah, this is just very fun to think and theorize and just make. Just putting the pieces together and just simplifying it, just sanding down the edges. And also too, this is all in a different art style. This is all just in my style. This is just what I imagine the franchise would look like if it was more based on real-life animatronics, like Chuck E. Cheese or the Showbiz Pizzeria thing. Especially like the older animatronics, like Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Fredbear, Spring Bonnie. All of them are based off of like the older animatronics. And also to base a little bit off of Paddington's designs as well. Hopefully you can smell the influence there. Paddington was a big influence on me when making these designs. I hope you could see it with some of them. Especially.
Reminds me, the designs remind me a lot of like the original Showbiz, like how they were kind of like they were cartoony looking, but they were somewhat like unnerving with like how their mouths would move.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Like they have like an eternal like plasticky looking like wavy kind of smile around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to emulate or mimic, in these designs.
Yeah, that was like I said, you really simplified the lore. Thank you for doing that. You are a great person for doing that. And yeah,
you'll rest a lot more easy knowing that the lore is a lot more simplified now.
Let's just hope that Scott Coffin has something to say about this.
Yeah, that'd actually be really fucking cool if Scott Coffin like said something about it, like just left like a single little comment. That'd be really cool.
God, I should have thought of that.
Oh my god, I should have thought of that. I should have wrote this down. Or like, this guy's fucking stupid.
Y'all fucking stupid.
Y'all stupid, dog. What the fuck? Anyway, but yeah, that's really about it. So anyway, you wanna tell anything to the audience before I wrap this up?
Drink water. Hug your mommy and daddy. And I got like, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded on my YouTube channel. My shit is barren for like the past like 8 months or whatever. I have videos planned, don't worry. I just need motivation to make them, so don't worry. There's gonna be stuff, just don't worry. Please don't leave me here, Michael! Anyways, yeah.
Do you want me to give them a little tease, like a little like hint on what your next project might be?
Yeah, let's just say that we're not the bad guys here, and that we may or may not be a bit of outlaws.
Yeah, and also too, the video, it may or may not be fantastic. So, yeah.
It may or may not be.
Yeah, it may or may not be fantastic.
We left a bit of hints by the jokes we made, if you could catch that, so yeah.
Anyway, that's gonna be it here from me. If the video's already out already, I don't know. Thanks, everybody. But if the video's already out, I don't really know. The Silent Zone Zero redesign. Hopefully it is, but if it's not, then stay tuned for that, I guess. And that's pretty much about it. Just like, comment, share, subscribe, maybe if you're so inclined. I heard that people who don't subscribe get ball cancer. And you don't want ball cancer, do you? Think about your family. Think about them. Alright? So make sure you just subscribe. It takes 1 click, it's free. And click the bell icon too. And that's about it. So yeah, if you like this lore, then you like it. If you don't, then you don't. Either way, it's my opinion. So I could be wrong, could be right. Who knows? Anyway, that's gonna be it here from me. So yeah, I'll see you all later, and bazinga as always.
We're waiting every night to finally woman and right then it comes to play with us. Many years we've been.
You gonna say something?
I thought that was the end of the video.